We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight.
This was the video edit that set these events into motion. Donald Trump's speech in 2021 ahead of the Capitol Hill riots, cut for a Panorama documentary in a way now found to have misled viewers, made to look like he was explicitly inciting the violence. An apology from the BBC was expected tomorrow, but instead this evening a shock announcement. Tim Davie, who's been at the organisation for 20 years, headed it for 5, was stepping down. In a statement saying in these increasingly polarised times, the BBC is of unique value and speaks to the very best of us. There have been some mistakes made, and as Director General, I have to take ultimate responsibility.
The role of editor-in-chief and DG of the BBC is becoming close to undoable. I think the pressures on that job and the recent history of people having to quit shows it is extraordinarily tough.
Pressure had been building for the past few days. President Trump's White House taking aim at the Panorama edit. But there have also been reports of an internal memo which raised concerns over systemic problems of bias in BBC Arabic's coverage of the Israel-Gaza war. Nicknamed Teflon Tim, he'd managed to weather a number of storms, among them Bob Villan at Glastonbury, and misconduct by a number of flagship presenters, including former news anchor Hugh Edwards and MasterChef's Greg Wallace.
No one's irreplaceable. We're all dispensable. That's an absolute, unequivocal position being given to the whole BBC.
That was Tim Davie speaking to a select committee in September. Now it's him being replaced. The pressure has also claimed the BBC CEO of News, Deborah Turness, who said in a statement, "The buck stops with me." Tonight, Donald Trump celebrated on social media, calling them very dishonest people. The former BBC chair, Lord Patton, has called it unacceptable.
I feel very sorry for Tim Davie and his colleague, that it's really, really important today for us to protect the integrity and the independence of public service broadcasting. And we cannot lose that without losing an important part of our democracy.
The current BBC chair has thanked both of them for their work. Tim Davie's successor will now be chosen in the coming months. Graham Stothard, ITV News.
And I'm joined now by a political correspondent, Lucy McDade. Lucy, huge news from the BBC tonight. What's the reaction been?
Well, it's completely unsurprising, really, that it's reignited this massive political row about the future of the BBC. Politicians on the right, to put it very bluntly, are celebrating. This has opened the door for them to call into question again the existence of the licence fee and indeed the corporation itself. Those calls are mainly coming from Reform and some Conservatives this evening. Kemi Badenoch, she has said what needs to happen now is fundamental cultural change at the BBC. And just this morning, her party was saying on the broadcast rounds that the next few days would be the final test for Tim Davie to prove his position was tenable. Tonight, the response from the government has been a bit more muted. The Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, has thanked Tim Davie for his service, but quite a pointed remark in sending the message even that this proves now more than ever before trusted news is critical. The domestic politics aside, what has been striking in this impartiality episode at the BBC is the backlash from Donald Trump. In the past few hours, the White House press secretary has responded online. Just over an hour ago, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. He, and I quote, he celebrated the Telegraph newspaper for exposing who he calls corrupt journalists. His influence here has been unquestionable. The BBC can't afford to take on the world's most powerful man. These are very important jobs, perhaps previously very attractive. Who's going to want to take them on now?